Hey friends, welcome to Woman-Owned Wallet, the podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Dare, a serial entrepreneur who has already made all of the money mistakes, so you don't have to. Now I'm working on my money mindset, expanding my companies, and having open conversations with women around a subject that shouldn't be so taboo: money. My company, Woman-Owned Wallet, and I are determined to help you foster a more positive relationship with your wallet and help you create a life that makes you say, wow. Hey, moneymakers, welcome back to another episode of Woman-Owned Wallet, the podcast. I'm Amanda Dare, and I'm here with one of my favorite people. I probably text her like every other day for a million questions that have to do with styling and colors, and she's just become my fashion bestie and probably opposite aesthetic in the best way. But thank you so much to Kate for coming on to the podcast.
Hi.
She's so chic and slick in the best. I don't mean slick bad. I don't know if that is bad, but you're just so refined. And I'm just over here, like I said earlier, I'm just dressed like a toddler, and she's dressed like a lady.
Well, I just love black cats, and I kind of feel like I exude some of that energy, just that, I don't know, that laconic feel.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just love simplicity, but edgy.
Yes. And I mean, every time I see you, your fit is so good.
Aw.
It's so good.
Thank you.
And then I'll introduce you and be like, yeah, it's because she's an amazing stylist. So, that's why she's so cool. I'm obsessed because I feel like maybe the first time we actually met might have been at a Woman-Owned Wednesday, in person.
I stopped at your shop.
Okay, got it.
I went to a women meeting. I think it was business and coffee or some sort of thing. You were actually there, but then I was like, okay, while in town, I'm going to stop by the store because I Googled you before I moved to this area. I Googled you and I was just typing in sustainability and clothing and whatnot. And one of the articles came up with you. And I'm like, oh, she has a store. I'm going to come in and introduce myself. And that was the first time ever that I saw you in person.
See, because you probably found sustainability from my last business.
Yes.
And not that it's off the table, but the new black, it was all bamboo dresses and we made them ourselves. And yeah, I started that business because I was working in the mall and fast fashion, in management and stuff. And I was just I love this. I was self-taught fashion designer before that, but I was just I just want to do this differently and not hurt women as we are trying to celebrate ourselves as women and what we wear. So it's cool though, because I know that you're really into sustainable styling. So give us a little bit of what Kate does and because I know it's multiple things. Also the digitizing of the closet wardrobe.
Yes.
She knows I'm obsessed with it, y'all. You're about to be obsessed as well. So just give us some of the vibes. Styling, you go into it.
Yeah. So I started my business about 3 years ago, a little bit over, without, giving too many details, but
It's a podcast. You can give details. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Do what you want.
So started, I was still working 9 to 5, just had a job. And, I always loved fashion because previously I worked in retail and in beauty, and I always loved to dress up. And things have changed over the years and my personal style and perspective on things. So I started helping women to go through their wardrobes, just help clean them out and just see what fits, what doesn't fit. I remember my very first client was a woman I met at a Galentine's event.
Oh, no way.
It was a different kind of Galentine's.
Different one. Yeah.
So I remember, I don't remember exactly how she named it, but it was a local waxer. I love her, 2 pieces. She's amazing. And she had this event for her clients, and it was something the funeral of your ex or something like that. Everyone was in black.
I love it.
It was spray can stuff. Well, she was spray things on the walls and stuff. She was she went all out.
I love a theme. I'd be so into that.
Yeah, it was the funeral something. So yeah, everyone's in veils and their red roses. So it was hilarious, but also fun with the girls. They were all the girls. And we did videos and TikToks and Instagram stuff. So, and she she had a lot of like great clients, so I connected with a few. And like one of the ladies there, I told her what I do. She's like, "Oh, I'd love that. Like, I need to go through my stuff." And then so she invited me, and I was just toying with the idea of starting this business. And I'm like, "Well, just see what happens." And I remember going over into her house and going through things. And one of the things I realized then is how emotional it is for people, and how many like things that we hold on to through clothing. I remember clearing out several bags. I even remember she posted about it on her social media. And I even think I did it at the time just as a like, hey, like I'll do it for you and kind of stuff. And then she ended up paying me. Like I didn't even expect to be paid because I was like, I'm just starting out. Like I don't really have like business concept, nothing. I just want to try this. And that was kind of my start.
Nice. So, paid off the bat.
Yes.
I love it. See, because to me, the only thing that makes you a professional is when you get paid. So anytime I've been paid for anything, I'm like, I'm a professional, like muralist. I'm a professional artist in this way or whatever. And my brain's just like, yay.
Otherwise, it's a hobby.
Yeah.
Right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just different things.
Completely different. Yeah, I was thinking while you were speaking just about the sentimentality around clothing and like where you wore it, or, you know, like I did keep like my graduation dress for a long time, for an example. I saw my wedding dress, like that kind of stuff. Those bigger moments when you have that fashion. Because a lot of times like I'll hang out with somebody, I'm like, I can't remember your name, but I know exactly what you were wearing the first time we met. Yeah. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, that fun sweater with like the things on it. And they're like, you're so right. And I'm like, but what's your name?
Right. I know.
Because we're so visual.
Exactly.
That for me, it makes so much sense. And so I don't know, it's just interesting, but do you feel like that's what comes out when you're cleaning out a closet, is just all this sentimentality around like what happened in the outfit, like what they did in it?
Oh, that happens a lot. People do have a lot of sentimental pieces that either they a lot of times many years has gone by, so they don't fit anymore, like either in their style or like physically the size has changed. But I never tell clients to let go of that if they're not ready, because
that's smart.
You know, it's something that like I have my prom dress that I wore when I was 18. That dress is 20 years old.
I love it.
I still wear it. I wore it like last year, I think, or a year and a half ago. So once in a while I pull it out, but it's like a classic piece, so it never goes out of style. But people also assign value to things because, you know, part of it is sentiment and memory. So I get that. They also hold on to things simply because they feel they spent money on it. So that's where you can...
Is that like guilt almost?
It's partially guilt, because if you look around your house, everything that's in your house used to be money. Yeah. Right? You paid for it some way.
That's a funny way to think of that. Sorry. Used to be money.
It used to be money. It's not anymore. It is something else. You transferred it into something else. Yeah. It's your favorite vase, or it's your coffee machine, or it's your shoes, or it's your couch.
That used to be money.
Yeah, just look at it. Yeah. It used to be money, so you're sitting around with all of the things that you've had.
It makes so much sense. I've just never heard it like that, and I like it. Now I'm going to walk around my house and be like, that used to be money.
So that's where I really try to talk to them about that. Like, I don't touch the sentiments, because people are not, if they're not ready, they don't have to. Like, there are sometimes sections in their closet or house, they're like, okay, this is my memorabilia type of thing, and this is a whole different story. But sometimes they're attached because, like, okay, I spend $500 on this. Okay, great. Can you fit in it? Where are you going with it? Like, how long? Yeah, how long has it been since you wore it? So that is where
maybe sell it and make it money again.
Just something that, like, nothing comes in place. Nothing just comes to you just because you decided for it to come. Like, you need to make space for it. It's very important. I always tell my clients that in order to get the new you to be able to unfold better, you have to let go of the old you. Yeah. This is the energy law. You have to replace that old energy in order for the new one to flow in. So part of it is physical possessions.
Right. A lot of it.
Yes.
Gosh, holding on to stuff. I come from a family of, maybe not a family, but, well, they know it, of hoarders.
Okay.
So there's a lot of sentimentality around things. And for me, I also really love getting rid of stuff. And like, I like the cyclical like nature of like getting new things and releasing old things. Like I enjoy that because I want to be my most present self. And I feel like when you hold on to that old stuff, you're a little bit stuck in the past. To your point, you have to make space.
Right.
And it is interesting to kind of, think back. My grandma had like a 4-bedroom house filled with stuff. And now she always said she was an antiques dealer, which she was. She had multiple antique places, booths at places. She filled them up. She made money that way. But it was also her social component I feel like I want to have this conversation with you around retail and how much it's changed, because retail has been my career. And I just feel like sad about how much retail has changed and how much discount retail there is and how little we place on a little attention or intention, that we place on our items sometimes. And like, it's so disposable. But anywho, so I come from that's later, but I come from all of that where like everything meant so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on my dad's side, there was just like a lot of penny pinching, a lot of like holding on to it because you did spend money on it and you're going to use it until you can't use it anymore. Like my dad had the same pair of like black jeans for like 30 years. And I'm not saying that's bad.
Sure.
But the outline of his wallet in his back pocket
was visible.
I'm like, Dad,
it's time.
You don't want to like dye them again or like
do something.
He's like, no. And I'm like, okay. And I can't decide, I'm somewhere in the middle of that, obviously, because I come from both. Right. So it is kind of an interesting thing of like it's almost, all of it is holding on, but for what reason? And all of it becomes some kind of guilt or some kind of attachment to past. And I just really want to regenerate as a human as much as I can and reimagine. And I've had to fit in all different kinds of spaces, having storefronts, I had an event space.
Yes.
Which I'm thinking might be the one did you come to an event at the event space? It was Wow Factor Collective.
It was an event outside, like just and then I just stopped by at your store afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
I was just
not
thinking
related.
It might have been into that space because I closed it last year.
Right.
So I was like, maybe. But yeah, I went from all this square footage to like
tiny little
store, and now not having the store, it's like into my house.
Right.
So like getting rid of stuff, I'm like fine with. But yeah, it's like sometimes if you can't get the money back from it, you feel guilty in that way too. And I'm like, who else is going to want this random inflatable cash cube?
Right.
I bought.
That seems so attractive at the moment and so necessary.
I'm like, I needed it. What do you mean? But it's just like, am I the only one who needs it? But in my closet, I'm like, people are always trying to buy my stuff. Actually, at our events, I had to hide my clothes.
Oh my gosh.
They would try to buy them off the rack. And I'm like, no, these are my options.
You actually, wear that. And, yeah.
And we're like, I made it, and coming from a fashion background, I'm just like, I collect. That's what I collect.
Yeah, you like it.
Because you like it. I can imagine your closet being like organized, but pretty big. How big is your closet? You have to tell.
Yeah, it's not actually huge. Because
it's intentional.
It is, yes. Yeah. I have been purging overall, like more recently. I feel like I go through cycles. Of, like you said, regeneration, where I have core pieces that I have worn for years and years because I know my true style DNA. So there's a theory of like your style. It's like kind of reminds me of the Maslow pyramid, if you know what that is, where your basic needs are like food, shelter, clothing, like just covering your body, right, to stay warm or cool. Then the next layer, usually it's like have an education or have a development. Like the top layer is like you are a fulfilled person that has a bigger purpose, right?
Yeah, like safety.
Yeah. So the same thing with clothes. There's a theory that you need to have a base, like your like second skin. For somebody, it's like t-shirt and jeans. For you, maybe it's like overalls and long sleeve. Like for me, it's maybe like pencil skirt and a blouse. Like so you know what you're like. If nothing, this is what you wear. Then you have like your core DNA, like who you truly are, what you resonate with. Then you have like interesting pieces, statement pieces, and then you have like dopamine pieces. Like it's those feathers and those sparkles and
I call those the
fun
wow
stuff.
pieces.
The wow pieces, yeah.
But you're right. The dopamine dressing is real.
Right. So the bottom has to be the strongest. And as it goes out, like usually the percentage of what you own just kind of decreases. So I feel like I have really good foundation. So I usually shed like my middle and top like more often because, that makes us feel more like contemporary, more relatable. Like
you're not going to get rid of a white t-shirt.
No.
But you are going to get rid of something you've worn and maybe felt right at the time, but doesn't now.
And style is just something that like you, as a woman, you can be like 3 different sizes in the span of 5 years.
Yeah.
So like
for me, it's the span of 5 minutes. That's why I wear all this loose stuff.
So it's something that you are gonna have to accept as a woman, right?
Yeah.
So that you're gonna, like you talked about your dad wearing like the same jeans. Men typically don't jump sizes, or they like you have to think about hormonally too. Men wake up with maybe higher testosterone levels. They go slightly down throughout the day, but they don't change that much through. Like it takes decades for something to like change.
Yeah.
Like with women, you're different every week is different.
Every phase of
Everything
your cycle
is different.
Yeah.
So I certainly learned to accept the fact that I can't say, okay, well, this is what I'm buying and that's it. This is it. No, I can't. It's not realistic. Like I'm going to have to buy something or change something. Like what I'm wearing today, I have a blouse that's vintage that I swapped. Like it cost me nothing. I just went to a clothing swap.
I love swapping.
Yes. I have a skirt that I went to work in Florida and I bought it at a vintage store. My shoes must be 4 years old.
They're cute.
Thank you. My purse is like from Milan when I had a trip to Italy. So I find like interesting things, and some of them I hold on to, others like I change out and then I'm okay with it. But
cute purse too. Sorry, I'm just like drop Milan in there and I'm like, ooh.
Well, I love,
but I like it.
I like things that mean something to me too. Like I could go online and buy it in the US too, but
that's the memory.
It was the memory,
that you were talking about, the sentimentality of like now every time you get to relive that Milan vibe, when you use this purse.
I love it. And I'd
rather buy that than like a magnet for my fridge.
Exactly.
Of like where I've been. You know what I mean?
Just something more meaningful.
I buy those too, but the meaning, I like the meaning behind it. And that's amazing.
But I grew up, I would say middle class, I would say at the time. I grew up in the 90s. And at the time it was, USSR, but it was around the time that it collapsed. So my dad was in the Air Force. And as like the countries were kind of, falling apart and restructuring now, becoming all independent states, my dad wouldn't get paid for months at a time.
Wow.
They would pay.
Just through all the confusion of it all.
It was, it was destruction of the government.
Yeah.
And so he would get paid, but then like different part of like military would get paid. Like they couldn't pay everybody at once. So they would rotate like sections of like the type of works that people did. So sometimes we'd have, 3, 4, 5, 6 months that like there was no income. My mom ended up getting like some side gigs, jobs, like reselling things. And we would have like times when you open our fridge and there's like not very much in there, but like cans of like red caviar because my dad flew somewhere. And like that was the only, like they would get it like shipped to them, like and given to them as a gift. But there's like no bread, no milk, no basics.
Yeah.
So, and it was, unprecedented times in Russia at the time where people were just getting into the free economy, like the Iron Curtain collapsed. So they were like free market and like there's a lot of people selling, reselling, kind of setting up business, a lot of like illegal stuff going on too because there was no structure yet in the government.
Structure's not built, then you can't follow it. Yeah.
No. So I grew up like imagine having, like I said, a lot one day and then having nothing next.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a lot of unpredictability as far as financial side of things.
I always wonder about how that impacts you now because it sounds like, to your point, you've built, and we're just going to keep it on the side of wardrobe for the moment, and we can go deeper obviously, but like you've built that base and you've built those things. And does that make you feel safe to have that, white t-shirt and legging and pencil skirt and blouse, like the unpredictability of growing up? How does that kind of resonate kind of through your life today? And does it like make you feel okay being an entrepreneur with unpredictability, or does it like bring back stuff that like scares you? You know?
It's a good question. I think I built the good foundation because I was finally able to nail down my essence. Like, I think I've just gone through the stages of my life where I was searching, and I just know what it is now. So that's probably, that part is about that. But the second part, to answer the question on how that it affects me or being an entrepreneur, it took me years to become an entrepreneur. Like, I've tried to have a couple different businesses as I was like, from the moment I came to the US, I think the first 6 months I didn't work because like you don't have
visas.
work permission 1st. And like, so it's a lot of paperwork then.
And how old were you?
I was 22 when I came here. I first came when I was 20, but I traveled back and forth, and I finally like immigrated when I was 22. And so I was just out of college. Things were very different of how you look for jobs here and there. Like, I didn't know how things worked. At the time, there's nobody there that could guide me or anything. So I just like applied for things online when I was able to finally, when I had a work permit. And my first job, like I said, ended up being in retail. And I certainly had to learn a lot. And, you know, where I'm from, like, I had no, you know, kind of concept of entrepreneurship as much because, again, it was deemed very unsafe. And, like, there was not even a thought of that at first.
And even the idea of, like, trading all of these things in a new system, a new free market back with, like, Russia and everything, I feel like it's still, it wasn't deemed entrepreneurship.
No, it was just the survival. It was the survival strategy just because there was not a lot of legal work available or, in general, any work available. People were like losing jobs. People weren't getting paid for months at a time. So but you had to eat. So they had to figure out how to do that.
And when you moved here and you started working in retail, like what did you study in school?
Well, my degree is international relations and linguistics. Cool. So I studied to be an interpreter, translator. So that was my bachelor's degree. I later on got a master's, but that was my bachelor's was with.
Yeah. Do you know that I have a sign language interpreting degree?
No, I had no idea. It's in high demand. I know that's very needed.
It is, unfortunately, with the brain fog and other things that come.
It's hard too.
I didn't want to be responsible for someone's communication besides my own. So I didn't choose that path, but I was one of the first graduating class of U of L.
Oh, that's awesome.
We had 10 students that graduated with that, and a bunch of my interpreting friends are doing it and loving it. I just felt like it ended up not being the right thing. Yeah. But I did it for like theater, and I wanted to do it for the courts because I love true crime. I got to watch a murder trial, actually. Wow. A deaf person had murdered someone else, so it was really interesting. Like,
that's crazy.
All the ways it goes through. But yeah, I think that's why we both kind of, there's some vibing around like language and how to use it and how much impact it has that we share that I've felt,
absolutely.
But I didn't realize maybe it's some of that, the studying of it. I think it's really interesting. But yeah, were you able to bring those qualifications over when you immigrated? Like, what was that process like?
So there are different organizations that help you basically translate it into what it qualifies in like an education system in the U.S. So I had all of that. I prepared all of that. I knew what it would look like before I moved here. But then we lived kind of in an area where there's not like a lot of high demand for that. There's some, but it's like very freelance kind of basis. Maybe if you had Spanish, which I did study Spanish too, but clearly there's so many native speakers here that it's like I would be like a third choice on the list, if not lower. So it was not like I didn't live in D.C. or New York where like I could
There's a lot of demand.
Right. But in the small area, it was not. So I ended up, and again, I could have probably found some kind of job more related to it, but I just didn't, like I said, I had nobody that could guide me. Internet wasn't as developed. We're talking 2010. So like
definitely
16 years ago. So
People forget how recent it is.
Yeah.
They really forget how recent.
It was out there, but again, as an immigrant, as someone, even though educated, like it's still a different system. You still don't know how it works. So I ended up, there's nothing wrong with retail.
The culture shock of it all too,
But it was a different job, like not what I had expected. So
I love working retail.
I did too.
Yeah. I mean, and especially I would say the 2010s is when I was working it as well and like management. So like 2013, 2014, 2015, I was working at the mall and I was in retail management for Francesca's.
Yes.
And for Charlotte Russe.
Okay. Yep.
And I just loved it because, like, it's a very pink collar job, you know, where you get to work with other
Girls, yeah.
But at the time, I was struggling a lot because, you know, some of my story of like just struggling with my relationships with women and understanding how can they be safe. And there a lot of the hierarchical kind of structure that happens in a patriarchal system, like came through within the women, like whoever was on the, it was like watching Dance Moms. And it's like, you're on the bottom.
That's right.
Whoever that person was, I felt the collective like shit talking.
Just hatred.
The hatred of that, or like the pointing out of what they were doing wrong. If you were the one chosen, you would almost be nitpicked to oblivion, and like you would want to quit.
Wow.
And eventually you would. And that was with like a big team at 25 or so people.
Oh yeah, that's large.
And that were at Charlotte Russe, and it was in a college town, so like just a lot of college girlies, whatever.
Yeah.
But it came from the top, you know, like our regional
that
director.
Vibe and everything.
Yeah. And it just felt like, I mean, they would call and try to catch you off guard. And the amount of times I cried at Charlotte Russe was like,
oh no,
a ridiculous amount.
That's crazy.
My regional director would call and be like, well, you should know how many sales you have in right now. And I'm like, yeah, you're totally right. I was just like straightening a rack and helping somebody let me look. Like, it was like life and death. And I'm like, it's not. It's beautiful, cutie clothes. Not beautiful, but, you know, like fast fashion. I mean, they weren't like bad at the time.
For college girls, they can afford something like that, right?
And it's a college town, and I was just out of college for the most part, too. So it was just like, you know, is what you could do. But the amount of times that like it came from the top, and I don't know if you ever experienced that, but it was so frustrating.
Yeah, I started at Macy's, and I worked at beauty. So just imagine it's next level, I feel like, from clothes.
Beauty department.
Yeah, beauty department and the commission and like all of that.
Commission. I never had to work on commission like that.
Yeah, it wasn't like we get like a little percentage of sales. Like it was not like massive. Like I know there's some stores that do even like deeper commission type of thing. But I did well. Like honestly, I just got right into that. I got promoted like 3 times in the span of 4 years. Like I went from just part-timer to an account coordinator for 13 stores.
Fancy.
It was big. I loved it. I literally had all my life laid out on that job. And it was like what you said when somebody calls like, hey, how many sales like you got and stuff. I was that person calling.
Turns out.
I was never
Kate
mean.
was the one that made me cry.
Yeah, I was never mean to my team. I loved my girls.
No, I would be like yelled at.
But no, I had some come to Jesus, but then I also had people on like over me that were like pressuring. Like there were some times when
it's very
like
high pressure.
I felt that I would lose my job or that I would get like, I'm sure my brain like overly done that too, like made it worse than what it is. But yes, I definitely had moments where like I knew if I wasn't gonna perform, like it was gonna not be good. And it was stressful, 100% stressful.
I think people don't give it that credit. They think,
oh, it's the lipstick. They're like, oh, you're just selling lipstick. What's the big deal? It's very like beauty, especially. I feel like is even more competitive.
I think you're right.
It was the desired department because it seems like easy because you're not carrying clothes and racks and that, but it's just different kind of thing.
Right.
But it was the job I lived and breathed, and
you kind of have to. Like I did the same. I was just like every time I wasn't there,
you just loved it.
You're just like, okay,
yeah,
can't wait to get back. It's kind of a high.
It is.
The pressure.
And people get used to you, and like you get clients that come back and look for you. So that's fun. That's really the fun stuff.
And like you get to help them. Like to your point now, what you're still doing is just like, you get to help them through those like those big moments. Where like for me, like I was working with college girls, so it's like, what's the next like sorority party,
the big thing,
or their graduation dresses. That was very sweet. Like because I had known them for a little while, and then just to see them like graduate and go on, and I was only a few years older than most of them, so I was just like, oh, this was
amazing,
so cute, But yeah, it's like it's that sentimentality, of working in it, but also living it as a woman. As a person.
I love that job, but I at the end of it all, how it all ended is again, like I was working towards my next promotion. I wanted to be a regional account coordinator, like a regional, like basically account executive, right?
Yeah.
So, and I did so much, and I ended up being laid off from that job.
No way.
That's when the times were starting with the malls kind of going out the door. It was 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my first wake-up call. I already had a mortgage, I bought a house, and like only to get the news like about a year-ish later, then hey, like it's possible you will not have your job. And it was like I remember it was like a 2-week process because we waited for them to decide because they were like closing some doors and they were restructuring. Mm-hmm. And then there was another week of like, yes, I knew I was getting laid off, but then every day almost I would get a call from HR. They were trying to like either talk to me about severance pay or figure out how to like keep me, but in a different role. And I just couldn't get over it. Like I felt that I've given it my all, and I've given her like I said, my life and everything. Like I've spent long hours. I would drive at, like I said, 13 stores. I would drive for hours to get to the location, work there on my feet all day, be available sometimes off hours, and like everything I gave my all. And then just to be like thrown away basically like that.
It's like abandonment.
It was. And that was my first time ever that, like I said, I realized not to ever put all my eggs in one basket. Mm-hmm. And that was my first layoff. I've been laid off twice in my lifetime. And overall, that taught me that your safe 9-to-5 paid job is an illusion.
I agree with you 100%. Like, if for some reason I'm going to close something, I know about it first. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or if I'm going to pivot or do something different, like, because the 9-to-5, like, a lot of times they'll say, you know, the most popular job 10 years from now doesn't exist.
Right.
And I think that makes a lot of sense, you know, and that's why we do have to change, you know, our career and our skill sets and everything. And people are nervous with AI and like whatever. It's just like, how do we continuously be improving to where a job does exist for us in the future? And not that you weren't doing that, of course you were, but there's just so much out of your control when it comes to like a massive company or even a smaller company when it's just not your main goal is to like stay there and you want to be there. And I felt the same. I was like, I love working in retail. How can I do this? And I wasn't laid off. I did end up leaving to start the New Black, but it still just felt like such a... Well, eventually I became the one that they like nitpicked on. Yeah. And that really sucked because then I knew I was going to build something for women and try to change that and not be yelled at all the time. It was a lot. It was way too much. But it's difficult to leave and transition into anything after that. So kind of what was your next step? How did you transition? Because feeling all of that anxiety or even learning that the 9-to-5 isn't the safe thing that our parents have told us, or that they felt that they stayed at jobs for so long, you know, and especially even grandparents, whatever. It's like, what's kind of the next step that you took, and how did you get over, you know, the layoff part? Hey, Moneymaker, did you know that one of the most powerful things you can do with your dollar is decide where it goes? Introducing the Woman-Owned Wallet Tour, your new favorite way to explore cities through the lens of woman-owned. From cafes and boutiques to salons and sweet spots, we're mapping out the baddest businesses powered by women. Think of it as a self-guided tour meets empowerment hour. Grab your friends, your wallet, and your walking shoes because we've done the research so you can do the shopping. Every stop you make puts money directly into the wallets of women, and around here, that's the goal. Ready to walk the walk? Visit womanownedwallet.com or come into our storefront in Louisville, Kentucky, and start exploring woman-owned businesses near you. Thanks for calling Woman-Owned Wallet, the hotline.
Women forever. Love us. Bye. This store is very amazing. It's so cool. Your shop is the cutest. I love all the pink. And I love that you're supporting women. Keep on doing what you're doing. All right, bye.
what's kind of the next step that you took, and how did you get over, the layoff part?
Well, I was definitely blindsided. I
Yeah.
definitely felt like it came from nowhere. And I was lucky because at the time, so usually, I don't know, it's a little bit different market here, but there's a lot of places have like Dillard's and Macy's, or like Nordstrom and Macy's. So there are a couple similar stores.
Were you living in Louisville at the time?
No, I was in Virginia.
Virginia.
So, and we had both like Dillard's, Macy's, all those stores. So at the time, cosmetic manager position opened at Dillard's, and I heard about it. Somebody told me, because like I had a lot of people knowing that I was getting ready to lose that job, and a lot of empathetic people, women, I should say women specifically, were very, very, very like, like felt that they wanted to help. And they were like, hey, did you hear there's a job going to be there? So I went and talked to the store manager, and literally I had my last day at Macy's on Friday, and Monday I started a new job at a new place. I was very lucky. Lucky in the sense that like I didn't sit and cry, and I was doing something. Like I knew, because like I said, I had a mortgage. I knew I
had to get it paid up.
Right. I was just like, I'm not going to just give up. And I also knew that I wasn't going to, like I said, they were offering me roles that are different. And like for me, it felt like a step back, and I just couldn't get over the emotional side of it. Like I knew it wasn't the store manager's fault or like the HR person's fault. Like it was decided, and this happened like higher up. Like I don't know how much input anybody had when they were choosing. So I'm
probably very little.
Yeah, very little. Yeah. So I'm like, it wasn't personal with those people, but overall concept, like I'm like, I couldn't do it. So I just knew I had to start over, and I went there, and I did have, I did stay there for a little bit. It was great, great time. I loved the team. But I'm like, I wanted a little more control. And as I was working, I'm like, I'm going to try to find something that's closer to home, because I was driving a little more at the time, a little further away. So I worked for about a little less than a year at Dillard's. And then I went to work for a small boutique where I was a store manager.
Nice.
So I could have a little bit of more of that control. And that was one of my favorite jobs, because it was an outlet, and there were 12 or 13 doors across the U.S. And we worked as a group, all outlet locations. My boss was in New York. He was a Brit, a gay Brit. He was super fun. He was he was that like really amazing person. He was like an adult. Like he's like, this is your thing. You guys do. Yeah. He just, everybody had their own. Every store manager had their own. He was super respectful. He knew how to build a team. We traveled for our meetings, different parts of the U.S. Like I went to Albuquerque once. I went to like upstate New York. We stayed in Airbnb. Like he just was amazing at team building and respect and all of that. I
love to
loved
hear that
job. Oh my gosh. It was like a breath of fresh air.
Good.
And it was, company overall was good company that I worked for, but he especially, like it was so important because I was someone that was in charge of that store. I remember we did a renovation during it. So with all my girls, like I had to pack and unload all my store, put it on U-Haul, take it to the storage, then do it all over again in about a month or two to start, to open the new like renovated store. And he was amazing through all of that. So I stayed in that job for about 2 years. I loved the control. I loved it was closer. But I also, at the time, I got pregnant with my daughter, and it was the retail, and I'm like, I need a 9 to 5, like literally like Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 kind of job.
Yeah, because all those weekends you're gonna miss.
Yes,
you're gonna miss.
And then this, that was one of those things. And at the time, I was out of the blue, I was approached by a recruiter, and she was like, hey, this is a job we have completely different. You wouldn't believe what I went to to work.
Where?
It was an investment casting company. Basically, it's a company that makes metal parts out of titanium alloy for airplanes, space, like things for NASA. Big stuff. Like I was helping to coordinate making parts for F-35, the jet. And it was a completely different job. It helped because I was, it was a lot of computer work, a lot of office work.
9 to 5.
9 to 5. They hired me as I was pregnant. So I was even trading, like losing some of my leaving job while that, but I thought that was the thing.
It sounds like the right decision for you.
The first day I worked there, I cried most of my drive back home because I realized where I got myself into. It was going to be, I knew I was going to have no help really, that I was really oversold on the job. It was a hard job. I was not only constantly like, it was more than 9 to 5.
Got it.
There was a culture there where you you don't leave at 5 and you don't leave, like you had to, like it's that old school mentality with mostly like guys and men, and like the management was definitely very old school. People, like the company would get sold and bought out every couple of years. People would get laid off and then brought back. It was just, there was a lot going on. The main reason why people stayed there, it paid really well.
Got it, yeah.
It paid really well. I went through a lot of interesting situations there after I had my daughter. Then I was breastfeeding, nursing, and I was like pumping at work. And that was very interesting situations.
I'm sure. I mean, surrounded by mostly men, it sounds like.
It was very interesting.
Were you like shoved into a bathroom kind of thing? Like
Almost.
They're not going to have a breastfeeding room.
No. It was almost that situation. I was definitely in a position where it was like a closet. I was walked in a couple times where somebody like, as I'm sitting there pumping, walked in. Like it was, they apologized and everything. Like it was just awkward.
Yeah.
When I was trying to schedule things around my pumping time, there was also like questions were asked where I'm like, well, you all know what's going on. Like, why are you like... And then
you hired me pregnant.
Yeah, you knew.
Now there's a child.
Yeah, and then like it was a lot of those kind of awkward situations, or like where I was felt like like they knew what was going on, but they seemed like not to care, or that
they wouldn't allow any flexibility.
No, or it was perceived like on paper it was all fine, but like in reality it really wasn't. And I stayed that job through like as the COVID started, and that was my second layoff. That job was my second layoff because the COVID hit and some projects, were slowed down or like, and and that was another layer of like another level of restructuring they decided they're going to do.
Yeah.
And they, that was the layoff I kind of saw coming, not 100% still, but like I was
Were you
mentally,
relieved
I was actually relieved.
I was going to say, I could feel that.
My mind at the time was going in places like I cried, like I said, a lot. And I'm like, what do I do?
How do I
the money was
this?
good, but I was like, what am I doing here? Like, what am I serving here? Like, I'm just shipping parts. I'm like typing things up. I'm constantly hearing from men that like, hey, can you do this report? Can you do that? Like, upper management, like always like made you feel, like you're an idiot.
Yeah.
So
condescension.
Yeah, a lot of condescending,
level.
situations. So I was at the point where I'm like, well, it's hard. Like I prayed for this. Like I obviously like sometimes when you need a change but you're too scared to make it, because I'm like, I have a small child. Not only do I have mortgage still, but now I have a small child.
Responsibility outweighs.
Right. And I'm like, what do I do? And that was kind of the time for me that was very difficult. It was COVID. I lost a job. I started tutoring sometimes, like as the COVID was, as people started coming out a little bit, I kind of leaned into my skill set of like having foreign languages, and that was like something I could do. Until I decided what's next. I took a pause, obviously, with the layoff and the COVID. Like there was not much going on with the job market. And I definitely didn't want to go back in that type of industry again.
You don't want to be in the same thing that you just left.
Right.
That was overworking you, and it's just exhausting.
Exactly. Retail wasn't safe. Either.
Not with a small child and not with yourself.
And with the COVID, right? Like that's what went first is the stores, nobody was shopping. Everyone went online. And so I'm like, well, what do I do? So I wanted to kind of lean into my interpreting, but then I'm like, well, where am I going to find that again? The area hasn't changed. I still lived in the same place. So I knew it wasn't going to be, good enough. Like it's not going to bring enough
There wasn't
income.
enough demand.
No.
Yeah.
So I started to think, well, what had survived COVID? Like if it survived COVID, it's a stability. So at that time, this is what my mind was thinking. I wasn't, but the whole time, I mean, if you haven't realized, like everything I've so far worked at was out of some kind of need or necessity to fulfill something. None of it is about me. Everything I've described so far.
You haven't been able to really blaze your own trail.
No. I never, like it was it changed at some point, but I never had allowed myself to say, what do you want to do? Like, what do you love? Like, none of that. It was always about money, safety, pay mortgage, take care of child. Like, none of that, like, I put myself in. So after some thinking, I'm like, okay, well, obviously doctors always need, I'm not a doctor, not a nurse, never wanted to be. And plus it would take years, right, for anything to go back learn. I'm like, okay, well, what else survived? Like food industry, like some extent, like, I'm not going into any restaurants or anything either. I'm not a chef. Like, I wouldn't do that. Well, everything else that stayed was education. Like, women worked from home, teachers worked from home. I'm like, okay, I know foreign languages. I know that there are students that need to learn ESL, like English as a second language. I'm a second language speaker. And I've had throughout the years people reach out to me. It's like, hey, like, how do you learn English? Can you help me? So I tutored throughout the years, here and there. So I went ahead, I got a grant to go back to school. So 10 years after I graduated, I got myself together. I was able to get a grant where my first year basically was covered.
Nice.
And I went to get a master's degree in education. I went back to work for like $12 or $13 an hour first as a teacher's assistant. And then 6 months later, I was able to get a teacher job. So I became a public school teacher.
Yeah, I didn't know
Teaching
that.
ESL. Yeah, I was teaching English as a second language. That was my safe job. That was my safe, because I'm like, if anything ever happens,
Education stays.
it will stay. It should, yeah, in one way or another. Like,
Yeah,
it's going to be available, like either online or in person or somewhat. Like, that's a degree.
Were you teaching Spanish as well, since you had also studied that? Or I guess English as a second language to Spanish speakers? Or
A lot of them were Spanish speakers, yes. A lot of my students came from Latin America. So there was I would say 60 to 70%. There was other languages too. Of course, there were, then later on, refugees from Ukraine as the war had unfolded. So I would get a lot of those students, but then, other countries as well. So I felt like I could relate really well because I was an immigrant myself. I knew what you go through the process. So I would teach. I remember I was teaching at night adults. I had adult ESL classes. So, and then during the day I was teaching kids.
yeah.
So I did that for a couple years. And I did really well.
Still out of safety.
Out of safety. Like,
Out of that breadwinner.
none of that is me.
Yeah.
I liked it. I knew how to do it, but like the thoughts every time I've gotten a job, the thoughts were about basically keeping food on the table, keeping lights on, having everyone.
There was no like opportunity for dreaming.
No.
And for opening it up to yourself beyond what you needed to put on the table. I understand.
Since I was a kid, like, because it was about survival. It's about just
and I feel like that
enough.
is a through line for you for sure. It's that what creates the survival, and I'm sure that came from being, coming from a place where, there's a lot of upheaval and trying to figure out how to survive. And I couldn't imagine not having an income for that long, for an entire family or for an entire country to rotate and everything. So it does make a lot of sense. And I feel like getting into what you have created now, like you're finally doing it for you, it feels. Yeah.
It was finally something I allowed myself to feel.
Nice.
Because it took me, as things were unfolding with my second layoff, I haven't mentioned that, I've been married that whole time.
Yeah.
And at no time and place were there enough feeling of safety in my relationship where I thought that the other person had my back. And that there were things that were said to me where I knew exactly that, like, this is just me on my own.
Yeah,
like,
you got to figure it out.
Right. This is nobody's doing anything else. It's like me or nothing will happen. And at that second layoff, I already, it was part of okay, I think this is not working. I think I need to figure out how to get back on my feet. And I also started back working out at the time after I had my daughter. She was already 18 months, going on 2 years. I'm like, okay, I've always been active, but I'm like, I need to just really get myself together.
Just do it for you.
Physically, mentally, because I'm like, I know things are changing. I feel like I didn't know it yet, but I was preparing myself for something to be stronger.
Yeah.
And I started, to just figure things out for myself, who I am, like what is with me. I had a good friend that we talked. We've been friends since we were 11, so like 27 years now.
Wow.
And we have conversations a lot. And she asked me, she's like, well, just imagine you are sitting, like just think of it like it's your regular, like every day, like Thursday, let's say, and then everything's done for the day. You're just sitting in the evening, like at your table with a glass of wine in your kitchen.
You're fulfilled.
Just close your
What is it?
eyes. Yeah, close your eyes. She's like, well, just imagine that right now, like at the time, I think I was about 35 or 34. She's like, just imagine, close your eyes. And 10 years had gone by. You're like 40, 44, 45. Nothing's changed. You have the same house, the same job, the same person next to you, the same circumstances. You do about the same thing every day. She's like, how do you feel? And I was like, is this it?
Yeah.
Like, is this all I'm going to do with my life kind of thing? And that was a little bit of a scary, like, wake-up call.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why am I living like I'm just a bystander? Like, I was so scared to take my own life in my own hands. And it sounds like I've been doing that, right? But on the surface.
Yeah. Externally, it could feel like that. It could seem like that. But of course, we, especially throughout your whole, story and your whole existence, it's been like, you kind of do have to take the bull by the horns kind of thing. And that's the thing that we're going to praise.
Yeah.
The hyper independence is what we're going to praise. And when we praise that, what else is there?
Right.
Like, and I think a lot of us do that through whatever reasons we do that. But it's especially in like entrepreneurship and other places, it's like rewarded. It's like not rewarded with anything besides, clout, I guess, or just like sweet things said to you about being hyper independent. But I'm like, no, we actually really need each other. And what a beautiful thing for your friend to kind of pull you through that exercise. Like, no wonder you've been friends so long.
It was visual, like for sure. And that was also the time, like a lot of things were happening in parallel. I was working out. I was, I was into this new job.
You were preparing.
I was, and this is where my style started to change too. Like I was ready. I'm like, okay, I'm working out now. I'm probably the size and the fit I'm going to be now after I've had my daughter. And I looked up in my wardrobe, and I also remembered that as I was pregnant or before pregnancy, I remembered that I didn't buy really much for myself. Like all my clothes were like a couple years old, or like, I would get it. Somebody would give away clothes and I would, take some of them. And I'm like, well, who am I? And so that was also the time then I started to try new things. And I'm like, well, what fits me? What jeans should I wear? What styles should I wear? And I started following people on Instagram or like looking up what, stylists out there or like bloggers out there. That's when it all kind of started in parallel. And that's when I realized that as like, especially, women, we transition at usually some kind of life events. Like men usually like, okay, I hit 50, like, or I hit 40.
Yeah, it's women, like an age versus an event.
For women, it's events. It's like your lifestyle changed, the place, like maybe your job changed. Maybe you had kids, maybe you lost weight, gained weight, got married, got divorced. Like we usually connect in event kind of stage. And that's when I first started having just thoughts of like, okay, I missed the part of dressing up. Like I felt I haven't done anything for myself for so long. I would do for others and to take care of others. I'm like, what about me? And I had no thoughts about becoming a stylist by no means. I'd never even thought about it. So lo and behold, of course, through all these processes, I realized that I can't stay married anymore. And I, kind of start having conversations with my first husband and at the time. And, I figure out that like, it's not happening. Like we're not going to work. And it, it becomes really painful and a lot of unexpected things happen. And I end up living by myself with my daughter. And I started taking some courses and I'm going to therapy now. Like I started going to therapy.
Proud of you. I'm proud of you for discussing it with him too. Like anybody that's in a situation that no longer serves them, I'm proud of them for even identifying that, but then doing something about it it's really beautiful to know that, you did that for yourself.
It took years to come to, from the time that the first like thought even like or like happened in your mind to the point where you sign the papers, it takes years.
Yes.
Almost no one, I know very few people, like I would just probably say there's one person I know that once she identified something was off, she was gone within like 6 months. They were divorced, but they had no kids and like they were new and like was definitely much easier. I also realized that I probably should have been on that journey much earlier, that the signs were out there. I was just honestly scared. I had fears from something silly like, oh, I want like, what if we get divorced? Like I won't have time for like working out or like something silly like that.
Yeah, you. Yeah. You won't have time for you.
Right.
You'll have more responsibility that you have to take care of.
Right.
And you've been there before and that doesn't feel safe.
No. And this like up to the bigger thoughts, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to lose half of like my equity. Like where am I going to live? Like there was small to big fears.
Of course. Yeah.
And I had to go through the process of them and deciding, because I feel like women in general, we wait and we wait and we tolerate and we wait a little more and then we wait a little more and then again and we forgive and we do this and then but by the time we're done with you're like done. There's no way back. Like None. We've cut off everything in ourselves that there's no point of return. And I got to that point and I was like, it's gonna be crazy. There will be a lot of pain. There will be a lot of things, but I just went through that. And through therapy, I started to slowly just dig things up from my childhood, from my current, the situation at the time that I was in, from things just about me and about needs and about wants. And I slowly started to just allow myself, because I haven't felt like quite alive. I felt like I was going through the motion. I was just doing what was expected. I was trying to do the right thing, but it wasn't like the right for me thing.
Yeah, right for you.
And that was another like aha moment that my therapist helped me with, because I don't know what I want to do. I feel like I'm just doing things because they're needed.
Yeah.
She's like, she gave me that another visual. I guess I'm that imaginary person. I think those things work for me.
Yeah,
and
you got to visualize it.
I do. And she said, like, imagine you're in, again, I don't know why kitchen always comes up. Maybe I'm just love food. But she's like, imagine you're in your house. You have your dream kitchen, your dream house. There's a beautiful car outside. You have your bank accounts full. You set for investment. Your kids are taken care of. Everyone's healthy. No need to freak out about anything. You're just laying on the couch one day, like reading the magazine or whatever. What is gonna make you get off that couch? Everything's taken care of. You don't have to do nothing. Your life is fulfilled. What do you want to do if you don't get paid? I said, if a phone call came and my friend asked me like what shoes to wear with the dress or like go shopping, I would be delighted.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized I didn't say go plan a lesson. I didn't say go teach a class. I didn't say go, sell something. I didn't say go sell metal parts for airplanes. I didn't say none of that. None of that. So that job, those jobs or those things were great to support just my survival. They were not fulfilling me. So that's when I started to kind of look a little bit in that direction of what is it that I want. And there was so many self-doubts. It's like, well, who am I? Like, I'm not a designer. I don't know how to sew clothes. Like I did a little bit in high school. Like I understand some of that. Like I'm not an expert. I've been away from retail for like a long time by then, like about, 7 years at least I haven't been. And I'm like, what do I know? I remember signing up for my Vogue College of Fashion courses. I remember signing up for them and then canceling because I freaked out.
Oh,
like
no,
I canceled. I found so many excuses. Like I'm not gonna have time. I'm not gonna what am I doing? I'm still in the middle of divorce. Like what is going on? Like I re-signed up again. It took a couple months, but it's never it's by no means it was an easy process. And it took me then. The whole different stories like posting on social media and trying to find clients and working with clients. So much of the imposter syndrome started to just pull me in. And I'm like, who's going to want me to tell them what to wear? Who's going to hire me? Like, how am I going to, just so much there. And at some point I just remember that I'm like, I started doing. Like I know some people say, well, you need to have a business plan. You need to start with.
I've never had one.
But they always tell, like the men, the coaches,
all wanna have the plan.
they tell you the plan. This is great.
It's not bad to write things out,
No,
of course.
no,
We're
no,
not saying that.
no.
But especially in a creative field, I do think that there's a lot of room for it to breathe and a lot of room for it to allow the creativity to lead, into which direction you want to go. And before you go a little further, I do want to ask, because I've been in therapy for so long. Love it. I just restarted for some new stuff. But I was like, when I was in therapy, I had to really learn kind of what you're saying, like my needs and my wants. I was like people pleasing so long and being there for everyone else that I couldn't even ask my husband for like a glass of water without feeling just the intense guilt of like, and he didn't put that on me. That was just on me. He gives me water every day now. But it
was your perception. You felt like
I needed to do it for myself because allowing someone else to tend to me or care for me in some way was weakness and was viewed as that. And it's kind of how I grew up in some of these situations, is that the women took care of the things and whatever the things were. And I don't know, if you didn't do that, it like wasn't respected. And I didn't want to be not respected in my own home or in my own relationship. And then I realized, like, once I understood that I'm allowed to have needs, I'm allowed to have wants, that's like, I was already doing it, like already being an entrepreneur, because I think for me, it was just, I was chronically ill and I tried to have other jobs, but I got
just difficult.
Yeah, if I didn't leave, I would have been let go for how many sick days I had at my jobs. So I just figured it out and decided like I have to do this way because it's the only thing with flexibility.
Yeah.
And it was never felt safe, but it never felt, I never felt guilty for having to change that until recently, when I'm like, oh, I finally know what this diagnosis is. I finally
have some clarity.
Yeah, the clarity around how many people go through these, things that need flexibility and we don't have them. And so it's just interesting. And I feel like kind of taking you through that visualization exercise as a therapist, that and your friend doing it as well, is such a valuable tool that you really did get the answer for the first time. Like the realization of like, yeah, I want to go help pick shoes. I might go with a dress, like same. And it's the creative side that, we could pick any pair of shoes with any dress and it would be fun, but it depends on the person and how you get to know them. And it's about their energy and their style. And it's just so interesting that through therapy, which I love poetry. There's this poem. It's super short. Don't worry. It's longer than this, but it's cute. It's like, life is too short to eat celery. Life is too long to feed jealousy. And life is just the right amount of time to need therapy. He's a beautiful poet. I watch his stuff all the time. But it's just like, there's always this stigma around therapy. And I just so much appreciate that you did that for yourself and that you took that jump for yourself. I'm proud of you for doing that, because it's hard to get into for the first time. And I can only imagine, just that relief that you must have felt. And then you're moving into it now and writing it all. You're not writing it all down because you're vibing, but you write some down. But yeah, I just wanted to say before we got into like this part of your story, like, I just think it's really beautiful how much you've shared and how important it is. And I hope that our audience knows that as well, that there's so much beauty in therapy, and it can be for a lot of different things. And
thank you for saying that.
Well, thank you for sharing it. I really appreciate it. Yeah. So the styling, y'all, the closet edits, all the things, that's where we are now. Also, her social media, y'all, Kate's hilarious. So not only is she great on there, I'm probably your biggest fan.
I appreciate all the support, all the likes, the comments.
I'm always trying. But I really like, yesterday you sent me one that was about statistics within fashion. And I just thought it was so interesting, by the way, because I'm not a big researcher. Like I'm trying to get into that mode a little bit and like be more about data collection so that I can show woman-owned businesses and what we do through numbers, which there's some people that collect that, but it's just not enough. So I'm trying to get into that and get into the vibes. So you helped me get into the vibes of like, oh, well, I didn't know that. I think it was like 20, I'm going to butcher it, but 27% of women that wear a pencil skirt, they take you 27% more seriously or something like that. Can you remind me? Hey, Moneymaker, if you're listening right now and thinking, wow, I love shopping woman-owned, and now I see how much good my dollar does when it's in the wallets of women, then guess what? We've got something just for you. While tuning into our podcast, you can head over to womanownedwallet.com and shop our online store with free shipping on every single order. No code needed. Just click and check out. Support a woman-owned business, enjoy that free shipping, and feel good knowing that your dollar has done some serious good. You're not just shopping, you're shifting the economy. And we can't wait to wow you on our website, womanownedwallet.com, with free shipping on every order.
I love it here. So beautiful. Love the don't be a dick things. Gorgeous. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Women forever. Love us. Bye.
Pencil skirt, they take you 27% more seriously or something like that. Can you remind me?
Yeah, the pencil skirt. Yeah, so there's thought or statistics, right? The data that women that wear pencil skirts get 27% more job offers than those that wear like décolleté, like a low cut top.
Like show off their
show off,
décolleté.
right. That if you were to choose something like a pencil skirt would be a better choice than like a revealing blouse. So,
for like a job interview.
For a job interview, we're talking. Yeah, everything serves purpose, right?
Yeah.
I don't ever feel like there's a bad outfit.
Yeah.
There may be an outfit that's not going to send the message you want.
That's a good point.
So we should use it as a tool. Like I tell women in general that, hey, for all people, like everything that we do, we want to say, we say first with how we appear.
Yeah.
It has to do with mannerism. It has to do with like your eye contact, your gestures, and what you wear and what color things you wear. So all of those things, before you even opened your mouth, like about 90% of that message has been sent of what you wanted to say. Then as you start speaking, then you can maybe change that perception of image. Because I've met people that like look like one thing, and when they start talking to them, they're like, oh, they're not like what I thought. You know, just different, right?
Yeah.
So that's why.
And are you presenting the way that you want to?
Yes. So like I can dress very differently when I go out to a restaurant with my husband and when I'm going to work, you know, with a client that's very conservative and like goes to church. Like there are going to be two different ways that I'm going to look. It's still going to be me, but I'm catering to the audience that I want to
the situation you're in and how you want to be perceived. You know, they love to say that now. Like, I don't want to be perceived. It's
but
like but I do.
Yeah. And women, for us, like, I guess, because again, we sometimes wake up like, you know, I try to pick out my outfits the night before. Like I lay there or like I pull things out, but sometimes it changes. Like in the morning, I would have this idea and I'm like, you know what? I'm going for slightly different today. Yeah. Like that's how I picked out my yesterday's outfit. I ended up grabbing my husband's tie and like doing a whole different vibe that I thought I was going to wear like a blazer and a skirt. And I'm like, I felt like a little more edgy. So as women.
So good. I have to tell y'all, she was wearing like a button-up white kind of long-sleeve collared shirt. She had the tie on. And then she had like a silky, reminiscent of lingerie kind of slip. But like, you know, still appropriate. Yeah. We were co-working yesterday for Woman on Wednesday. And I was just like, damn, that's a fun fit. It's so fun.
But, you know, some days you just feel like you want to play and do that fun stuff. And other days you're like, hey, where are my sweats and my t-shirt is.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, again, depends on where I'm going, who I'm wanting to be. Do I want people to look at me and get the attention, or do I want to actually blend in and fit in? Ugh. So you have to think about it as your strategy. I tell people this is the easiest tool in your toolbox. You don't have to yet like show your skill set, your background, whatever that you're going after, that promotion or networking event or trying to, get a business as a, entrepreneur. Like, what are you trying to do today
Do y'all hear how much more confident and like in herself that Kate is being right now? Because she has stepped into that power. I feel the power and I'm into it. Of course, your whole story matters, every part of it. But I feel like because you've chosen yourself and your wants and your needs in this moment, and your energy is so ready for this moment. And I've heard it. I felt it. And I was like, they're feeling it out there too. I do want to talk about the color analysis. So if y'all want to check out Woman Owned Wallet, the show on YouTube, Kate is in our first episode. I called her up because I was like, I need a gal for this. Like, help me out.
The colors.
Her and Maddie, who helped me with like my styling, my color analysis, and my makeup, were featured on the first episode of our new YouTube series versus our pilot, which we were trying to go for Netflix, but now we're just YouTube girlies and we're obsessed. More episodes will be out soon, of course, but she's on that first episode and you get to watch me get my color analysis done. And honestly, I have texted her so many times and been like, wait, what about this outfit? And what about that? And I have a few weddings to go to. And I was like, they're family weddings, so I have to wear different stuff. And I have rehearsal dinners plus the wedding. And I'm not in the weddings, but I'm in the photos as like family
everywhere.
member. Yeah, they're my brother-in-laws. So like we'll be in some stuff. And so I wanted to match their colors and all this stuff. I still have to show her what I got because I got some from OG, our friend, our fashion designer friend. But like, I feel like just having, to your point, the strategy, the styling strategy part, that hits so nice. Like my heart is just like, yes, I love some strategy because it does. It feels, it's fueled by intentionality and it's fueled by, well, what do you want to say and what do you want to attract and what do you want to bring in? And for me, I was telling you, I was like, listen, I'm trying to be your friend. I'm trying to be the friendly girl that you listen to about deeper stuff, but you get to engage with, me as somebody who can also hang out with your mom or with your kid or like, I want to be everybody's like auntie. I want to be a bestie. I want to be friendly and warm. And you're like, you're doing all the cool tone stuff. What are you doing? I mean, that's my way of saying it. But she showed me through the color analysis how that dark autumn is like really I've told so many people. I'm just like, I'm an autumn. Leave me alone. I'm so cool. But like I was dressing so like pastels and a few other things. And it's not that I'll never wear those. Sure. But to your point, the more I put towards my face, that's a warm tone. Dyed my hair new colors we're leaning into the warm tones versus the cool tones. And every time I think about it, I've been learning how to, it's a process. Like I've been learning how to change my makeup over to enjoy it a little bit and how much do I want to do with my makeup or not. Yes. And it feels like to your point of like knowing your strategy, but also knowing what you want. What do you want to say? What do you want to do? It was such a exercise in my own identity that I had wanted to try, but like getting to do that with you and going through actually looking at every single color and every single season and the leopards with the metallics, like I really think every woman should do it. And every person, but every woman should do it because I feel like it's a way for you to engage with yourself that you feel more safe understanding because you watched it happen. You watched your identity form in some way of like knowing how to choose the color that best fits you. Right. Knowing how to show up in a room. For me, feeling the friendliest I've ever felt. It is the friendship bracelets. It is the charm necklace. It's the pink, the light pink, but it's a little further away from my face. Like it is those things where every time I've gotten dressed since then, even if I had questions and I asked, my strategic stylist, Kate over here, that I felt more confident walking into any room. And it did lower the anxiety or the pressure around, am I supposed to do this? Because I did feel off and I didn't feel like I knew how to fully transition into the adult version versus the juvenile version of the form of myself that I've been presenting. I was just like, I just don't feel fully formed. And since we had, and now I've been like, all right, let's do my closet. Let's, what do I need for this? What do I need for that? Like when you step in and you feel yourself have that beautiful experience of understanding your color analysis, especially with someone like Kate, like, oh my goodness, like it just felt so real. And I've told her that her like Slavic background, she's like, she won't lie to you. And that's all I've ever wanted. Was people to not lie to me. And I'm just like, lean in, girl. Lean into like, because you don't want to leave a styling appointment or even like a hairstylist or whatever. And they're like, you look great. And they're like laughing at you behind your back. That's not happening here. And so it's just been such a beautiful experience. And I hope that they'll check it out on the show because you did such a beautiful job. But I hope that they do that for themselves. Like lean into that identity, especially in womanhood.
Yeah. And I feel like it's the color analysis in general about being who you are authentically, like showing you what your essence is, right? Like you can become who you want to become. You can change in any way you want. You can dye your hair. You can choose different like makeup shades. But I think it's important to know what you are like born, like who you're born with, your identity. Like, and part of it is like, I told you it was interesting you're choosing cool colors. Like, and I get the strategy too. It's like this contrast, right? Like blonde with like bright pink, like people resonate with it. So I get it from strategic point too. But when you start to feel, it's like, I think I went a little too far. Like where did I turn? And you kept telling me like, hey, I'm going against this. I don't feel like it feels like a struggle. So this is the sign that, you know, your brand and you are a little too far apart. Like you want
that's
to
what I felt like.
be
You're
a little
right.
bit closer to that, to your identity.
Connected.
And that's why I said, well, you seem like you're a really warm person. Like, and you are a warm tone. So why are you going cold? Like I have a more cooler tone. So like it matches for me.
I'm the golden retriever. You're the black cat. We get it.
Yeah. So it just
I'm like,
matches me.
Be the golden retriever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
But yeah, say you change it. Like you didn't, well, you know, you didn't go all the way like the opposite spectrum. Like we just brought you in just a little bit closer to that. So it's less effort. So it's, you know, more, you know, authenticity, which people like scan immediately. Like I never, you know, felt that you were fake with any like way, shape or form, but it just resonates even more with people when you are, you know, able to just accept who you are and like just enhance yourself in a way that just makes it, you know, authentic, but it sends the message that you want to send. So, and the process of either styling or color analysis is not quick. Like people say, oh, I'm just going to hire a stylist. She's going to go shop all the things for me. And then like, I'm done. No, like usually the first shopping trip that I make with my clients is just the beginning. A lot of times they have a vision of who they want, but for different reasons, they're not able to be that person. Like I can put them in those outfits they show me on Pinterest or like online. They will not wear them. They're not comfortable. Like they need to take a step by step. Honestly, the transformation may take a year or longer for a person to work with a stylist, really, truly. Usually first trip, we just get like basics, like your basics. We just clean out your wardrobe. We're just getting you the pieces that you're missing. We haven't gotten into fun stuff yet. So you need to unfold internally as much as you do externally. Because I mean, if you haven't taken your shower, but you know, put on like a beautiful lacy dress on, you're still going to stink. You have to clean out.
Sorry, I like that.
You have to clean out that inside. You have to connect with yourself. You have to ask yourself the questions and be comfortable. Because I can put you in beautiful clothes, but if you're standing shy in the corner, you're not going to unfold that outfit in the way that you want it. So that's why like I tell, it's not just clothes. This is much deeper. I've had people cry doing closet cleanouts. I had people get angry. I had people literally say things like, oh, I know I'm ugly. Or like, I know I'm fat. Or I know like, you know, I don't look good in this. Like women tell me this a lot, have told me this a lot. Because, I mean, let's just be honest. A person that's fully confident, that's absolutely, you know, happy with herself, that's like fit in her own way, she's probably not needing help. Like she's going to wear whatever she wants. She, you know, can care less. People that come to me are women that are, you know, in a transformational, maybe vulnerable state. Maybe they just fed up with something and they're like, okay, I'm ready to, like, it takes courage to say, can you tell me what to do? It's almost accepting a failure to an extent. It's like, I don't know what to do. Sometimes it's a point of like, okay, I just need a different eye. Like I need a fresh eye. Like, I'm kind of stagnated because I've done the same thing over and over. But it is a lot of times the women are at the point where like, I can't, like I have either no time or no help or no knowledge. It takes a lot to accept that in the first place, then have someone come out and tell you like, don't wear this. So I have to be gentle with my presentation, but I also serve a purpose. You hired me, you're paying me money to add the spice to your chicken so you could stop eating the dry, the rubbery chicken with plain rice. We need to add some spice and juiciness and that skin to it, right? Like add it up.
She's a visual girly.
Yeah,
I love it.
But think about
it. You need it.
You hired me for that.
So you hired me to pull you just enough outside your comfort zone.
To get you started.
That you got started.
My job is to eventually just let you loose. Mm-hmm. But some people need more or less help. So that's why, I usually vary my services based on which place that you're in and how much responsibility you're ready to take on your own journey of style, because all it is you're just wanting I still work as a translator. Mm-hmm. I just translate what's inside of you into the outside. I still technically do what I do, but in a different form.
That. Yeah.
So
I feel that way a lot actually with translation and interpreting and stuff. It's like, because you have to be so observant and understand how to get things transform something into something else. Like, it is interesting that we come from that, but also like with the new Black people would come in and they're trying on little Black dresses, and it was for all different reasons. A lot of times it was funerals. Sure. A lot of times it was to get a new job, or that they wanted to, actually some people bought fuck you outfits. So they were like, kind of like a revenge dress.
Yeah, like the Princess Diana's dress when she found out about him. Yeah.
Yes. And more recently, Ariana, when she found out about Tom's
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, God. It's a lot. But anyways, Vanderpump Rules fans will get that one. But it's like, the revenge dress. And but they come in with all these preconceived notions of what the world's told them, what they've told themselves. And it's like, how do you feel in this? And how does it open up your soul and your spirit? And how do you interact with this in a way that, again, you're presenting what you want to present, whether it's, the revenge dress or not, but like, how do we let you have that moment that feels so good? So when I was like designing clothes, I didn't use any closures. Everything was stretch fabric, so it could change with you throughout the day. And honestly, it was just clothes that I needed because I was sick and I needed to be able to have that opportunity for the clothing to, stretch with me as if I got bloated or inflamed throughout the day. But I was ignoring so much of my own stuff. To your point, I was like, it just felt very much like I was too scared myself, but I was helping all these other people. And I do think it takes a lot of courage. And I'm always proud of people. I love to be proud of people, and the courage makes me proud. You stepped outside of that box. You did that thing that was just for you. And I hope that people will make themselves proud and understand that bravery will follow, like that courage to just take a step and ask. I call it hand holding, to just ask for a little hand to hold, a little pinky to promise. And how do we get through this transition phase of our lives? And I feel like kind of as we wrap up a little bit, I'm just like, I'm over the moon with the services that I've received from you, with the friendship that I've received from you that we're able to have together. And I'm just so happy to have like a fashion girly in my life because I was missing it so much. And I love an aesthetic. Opposite aesthetics especially attract me. So the black cat to you, the golden retriever vibes of me. But you really did help me see myself in a way that I wanted to present as warm and friendly. And I just very much appreciate you and your skills and the education, because it truly still is that, the education and the therapy of it all that really helped me to see myself more. So thank you so much for all of that.
Well, you're welcome. I'm definitely happy to see. And like you said, it's just the beginning. Like it just starts to spark that interest and that knowledge. You are going to process it over time. And then you're like, okay, now I'm looking at my closet. Like, what do I do next? Like, how do I enhance things next or change things next? And I notice it like when I watch my clients on social media, and the ones that definitely apply what I've told them, they do go through those transformations and they do become magically after they change their clothes, they become happier, or they get or they get promotions, or they get, something happened like in their life.
They've accepted something in themselves that allows those things in.
And my best clients, they do the inner work. Like they manifest, they journal, they go to therapy, or they do things aside from that. So like I said, I can put anyone in cute clothes, but it's your responsibility. I'm just there to facilitate and guide, but you need to be ready, to do it yourself. So that's a very important part to, for me, I've learned to ask certain questions and learn about a person enough that I understand whether or not they're ready to work with a stylist, because sometimes it's not the right time. I get less and less of that as I continue my business, because I feel that I'm sending certain message where people see me, they're like, okay, she's serious. This is what I want. And I've become more assertive and more specific with people. And I think
even for myself, I knew I needed time to be able to do that. So I was like, okay, I'm going to wait till the store closes. Let's do it in January.
So you get in the right mindset.
The mindset for sure. To be open and allowed
in.
Yeah, and allowed to change you in whatever way feels good.
Exactly.
I'm just obsessed. I just think you're so fun. And I don't know, I think y'all should all go hang out with Kate. I think you should. Well, I feel like, the way we love to close out is, how can people put money into your wallet? So how can they follow you? How can they hire you? Where's all the places that they can find you, Kate?
Yes. So I'm on most social platforms. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn. You can look me up at Kravchenko Styling, or
Kravchenko Styling.
Yes. Or, my first name is Ikaterina. It's my full name. It's Ikaterina Kravchenko. My last name's Ukrainian. It's my dad's last name. So I decided it was no-brainer for me to keep my company's name is Kravchenko Styling. Not to say I would never rebrand, but I felt like I wanted to connect with my heritage. And, I used to try to say, or hide my accent, or when people ask me where I'm from, I was kind of defensive. It was kind of early on, because part of me wanted to blend in. And I didn't. I decided to accept that in myself too. And
it's beautiful about you.
This is where I'm from. And, hey, I'll tell you if you don't look good at something. So you're going to hear it from me. I'm going to be gentle.
Gentle, but clear.
I'm going to be honest. But yes, you're not, like you said, you're not going to hire me and I'll tell you you could look at it. You look good in everything. Let's find you your 10 out of 10 things.
I love that. Well, follow her, put money in her wallet for sure. And check out Woman Owned Wallet, the show. She's on episode 1. That's on our YouTube channel, so you can check it out. So many people have told me, how much they've been interested in the color analysis. And I still feel like it's pretty new in the Midwest, I would maybe say, because it takes, so much longer for things to get over here. But I do feel like it's a beautiful service you can do for yourself, and all of the other services she offers as well. But thank you just so much again, Kate. We really appreciate you. And moneymakers, until next time, go out there and make that money. If you want to put more money into the wallets of women like we do, then check out our website, thewomanownedwallet.com. And we can't wait to continue the conversation on our social media. So definitely follow us on our Instagram, @womanowned.wallet, and on TikTok, @womanownedwallet. You can support us by following our podcast on Apple, Google, and Spotify. And don't forget to leave us a review. Thank you for listening to Woman Owned Wallet, the podcast.